Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and great millstone who rule well. Peace and mercy to the Tazadak Akim out there that's laboring this truth with all sincerity. All right, I want to say Shalom. All right, this is an in-transit lesson, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And it's going into, just being more diligent, being disciplined, okay? And not being lazy, all right? And when we apply discipline to our lives, things will go a lot better, spiritually, even in the world. If you develop a routine and stick to it and be consistent, you're going to see results. All right. Just like, for example, if you're diligent or disciplined in reading and doing studying, you're going to, your wisdom is going to increase in the scriptures. You're going to be more confident. Just like if you discipline and consistent in the gym, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to increase in whatever your goals is, and which could be whatever your fitness goals is. You're going to see results. Just like, through the spirit, the apostle Gabal, the apostles, I should say, they're, trying to build that, routine of eating clean and, eating certain foods, because they know if you eat clean and consistently, it leads to what? Health, good health. Everything's through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But on a plain field, if you eat clean and you stay, diligent and disciplined at it, you're going to obtain good health. Your blood levels is going to be down. Your cortisol levels is going to be, at the rate it's supposed to be at. So the main point is to be, just to practice being more disciplined, praying to be more disciplined. Not being lazy, not being a procrastinator. All right? Because those all lead to what? To you losing, failing. And I'm mainly applying this in all aspects, spiritually and how you handle yourself in the world. If you lazy in the world, and you lazy and just in general, you're not gonna move forward. Okay? You don't want to have that woe is me spirit. You want to be able to, obtain discipline. Have a disciplined routine. Wake up. Make your bed. Do the little things. Read. Okay? So this is the book of Proverbs. This is a quick lesson. The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 24. It reads, "The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute." All right? So the main point in this one is the hand of the diligent shall bear rule. Now let's go into the word diligent. The word diligent means a constant effort to accomplish what is undertaken. Okay? It says to be content with, appreciate. All right? But the main point I want to go is a constant effort to accomplish what is undertaken. So it's a constant effort. You have to apply constant effort in your lifestyle, which is what? If you let's say you short of money, you have to make a constant effort to what? To go to work, get a job and go to work. Do your overtime if it's available. Do 6-7 days if you have to. All right. If you want to obtain good health, you have to make a constant effort to avoid bad food, junk food, fried foods. You have to make a constant effort through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. If you want to increase, in wisdom in the scriptures, you have to make a constant effort in reading. Okay? Because a person, I was speaking to a brother, and we came to the conclusion like this. You have to name one disciplined person that is failing in life. And you got to constantly think about that. You have to think deeply on that. you know? And we could really apply that in the scriptures. We could really apply that spiritually. If you discipline spiritually, you're not gonna fall short. You know, even though the scriptures say our righteousness are filthy rags, you know, and a righteous man falleth 7 times, I'm speaking for the most part. You know, it's not a repetitive thing. You know, it's not repetitive. You know, so you want to build that discipline to where you're not falling short repetitively. You know, yeah, we in the flesh, so we're gonna fall short. You know, but it's the effort. It's the effort, and that's how you bear rule. That's how you be able to ultimately rule your flesh. You know, that's how you're gonna overcome your weaknesses. All right, that's how you're gonna prevail. All right, and you don't want to be slothful. You know, matter of fact, let me get one more scripture on, you know, being slothful. You know, it's in Proverbs. It says, let me see. Let me get, let me see. Let me get right here. So it says, Proverbs, let me see, Salakia. Let me get another scripture. Slothful. Let me see. Salakia, y'all. Yep, so this is Proverbs chapter 19, verse 15. It reads, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So this, like I said, everything, you know, when you read the scriptures, you could apply it twofold. You know, we could literally apply it in the world. If you're slothful, if you know, being slothful casteth into deep sleep. So if you're being slothful, you're gonna when you're in deep sleep, it means that you're missing opportunities. You know, think about it. When you know, in that deep sleep and you just lazy and not want to do nothing, you miss out on opportunities. You miss out on opportunities of making money, being a provider. You know, help moving. You know, basically, not moving. You know, they say idle time is the devil's playground. So that's where Satan dwells. So you always got to be active. All right? In the world, and even, especially in the scriptures, especially spiritually, you always got to be spiritually active. All right? So you could use the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to combat those evil spirits. Okay? So I'm going to read it again. This is Proverbs chapter 19, verse 15. It reads, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So if you idle, if you're not moving, if you're being stagnant, how you expect to eat? And that we can apply that spiritually. If you're being idle, if you're not doing your lessons, if you're not studying, if you're not reading, how do you expect to grow? You know, you're not spiritually, you're not eating. You know, you're going to cause yourself to be hunger. You know, you're going to starve yourself out spiritually. You know? So that's why it's important to build discipline around the scriptures. You know, adding, you know, reading, studying, going into the, you know, the customs, you know, reading different books about slavery. You know, it's, everything, you know, counts. You know, brothers, you know, me and the brothers be building, you know, about, you know, learning different things, you know, getting more into the history. That's a part of studying. You know, try to set up topics for yourself to, you know, look into. You know, take your time, use your leisure time and gain wisdom. And I'm speaking for myself as well. You know, cut off, that TV time, you know, you want to watch TV on your super downtime. You know, but everything, you know, we you know, men deal with a lot, man. You know, men got wives, men got children, men got jobs. So we have to fit, all right, Yahweh Shem Yahushua in our routine. That's the discipline. Whether if you're going to the gym, whether if you're working, you have to fit the law. You have to build that routine. You have to be disciplined and you have to be active. All right? And that's why doing lessons is a beautiful thing, because it's a form of you being active. You know? It keeps you going. You know, it keeps you in the game. Keeps your head on swivel, as people say. Okay? So you don't want to be a slothful man. You don't want to be a procrastinator, because it's going to lead to you falling out. It's going to lead for Satan to overtake you. Like I said before, they say an idle time is the devil's playground. So if you're not active spiritually, you're going to fall out. You know, ultimately. You know, you got to look at our elders. Look at, you know, men who've been teaching this, doing this thing for 20, 30, 40 years. Look at our apostles. They always been active. You know, so that's the cheat code. You know, being active in the spirit, being disciplined, being diligent, making that constant effort. It's an effort. It's a fight. Some days you may not feel like, you know, reading. Some days you may not feel like doing a lesson. Some days you might just get caught up, but it's just the constant effort of doing so. You know, some days you might not read 3 chapters. Some days you just might read 1. You know, some days you might not read at all. You might just listen to an audio. Some days you just might listen to a video. It's just making that constant effort and trying to increase on it and be better. Okay? You know? And that's what I feel like, you know, through the spirit, you know, it had to come out. Because, you know, me and the brothers always, you know, we build on that. You know? So with that, you know, it was a quick lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And with that, shalom.